Hello everyone, this is Rita Holmes, independent demonstrator from Stampin' Up, and I have come to bring you a little technique type card tonight, and I'm going to be using the Adorable Owls from the Celebration catalog and also Lighting the Way from the new mini catalog. And I will show you that. I'm going to pull up my computer page just so that I can see that I stay in focus with you. Make sure I got that turned off. I don't want background noises, because that tends to drive me crazy when I can hear myself like that. There we go. Okay, there we go. We have it. I know it's been a while since I brought a video to you. I don't need to bore you with my stuff in my life, but I had an uncle pass away, and I have a sister that's very sick. And between the two of them, because I took care of my uncle, and then I'm my sister's medical POA, so they are keeping me, they have kept me busy, but we had his memorial over the weekend, and we're all good and done with that, thank the Lord. And so now I'm ready to move on once again. So I want to bring you this. It's kind of a little technique type card, but it's also just showcasing you a celebration stamp set, which you can earn free with a $50 order, and it's also bringing you a stamp set out of the mini catalog so that you can see them used, because sometimes that helps in making a decision if you're on the fence of, do I want that, do I not? You know, I get like that all the time, and then I see something made and I'm like, oh, gotta have it. And so I like to bring them to you, let you make your own decision if you would like them. And I also would love to be your demonstrator. If you don't have one, you can contact me. You can order on my online store, and you will see the address for that in just a minute when I turn my camera down. Also, this is a great time to join. You have till the end of the month. You can get the small mini Stampin' Emboss machine and $175 worth of product for $129, which is a great deal. It's basically getting you that Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine for half price, along with $175 worth of merchandise that you get to pick. So, great deal. If you'd love to join my team, I would love to have you. I would love for my team to grow. And I think that's all I got to say about that. And so I'm going to show you the cards. We're going to get started and just get that taken care of. So let me pull my camera stand down a little bit without pulling you down, and put my camera up there, and we should be ready to go. Whoops. Take you around in a circle tonight. Woo. I got my cord caught. That's not a good sign. It's not a good sign I can't even get my camera in the holder. There we go. And then I turned my paper and that. So there's our cards right now. You can see I've been cleaning out my blending brushes because we're going to be using those. So I kind of got the ink out of the way. Sorry about that. Here's my information. It has my Stampin' Up online store, which is ritaholmes.stampinup.net, and my February host code if you would like to order. Use my host code at that on my online store, and that would be great. If you would have a $150 order, do not use it so you can get your own free hostess items. And my camera stand is still not straight. Drives me crazy. Sometimes I'm not straight. But here's our cards. I took two exact same size papers or cardstocks and made two different cards with two different looks. So we're going to start with the one with the lantern first. So let me show you what I used. On that one, I used the Lighting the Way. Actually, the only stamp I used out of that was the Thanks for Lighting the Way. And I'm going to be using this round dot. I did not use it in this one, and you'll be able to see the difference. I will point it out to you when I use it. And then on the inside, I used this B as a die cut. Okay, so anyway, we are going to do that for that card. I also used the stamp set. Well, here is the dies. I used this lantern, and then I used the die for, it's actually this die right here for the little dragonfly. So that's what we used. And I also used the trees out of the Campology set, which are right here. I love these trees. I use them for a lot of stuff. And that is what has my little background over here. So let's get started with that. And I'll just go ahead and show you the, I'll be using the Lighting the Way, this leaf set. And that's the only thing out of here that I'm going to be using. And I'm going to be using the owl with the It's Your Day. So that are the two, all the stamps in that we are going to use. So let's get started. I'm going to move stuff out of my way because I will tend to make a mess. Because I'm going to do some, let's see if I set this over here out of the way just a little bit, if you'll still be able to see them somewhat, while I'm going to take two pieces of paper that measures 5 1/8. Wait a minute, these are 5 1/4. Yeah, 5 1/8 by 3 7/8 is what these two pieces measure, and that's one for each of these. I'm going to be doing them both at the same time. It makes it faster. And the first color I am going to bring in is the yellow, and I am using So Saffron. So let me move my papers here out of the way a little bit because I'll probably make a mess on them. And we don't want to make a mess. Not tonight. So let me get my yellow bit blending brush. And I'm going to ink that up. And when I ink it up, I just kind of swirl it on my ink pad. And okay, this will be the first one. This will be for the one with the lantern. So I'm going to come over in this corner. And I'm just going to add yellow. And I will, once I get this kind of darker. Let me have my little lantern. Let's see, make sure that's going to fit there the way I want it. I think that's good. It'll fit. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to darken this little spot here in the middle. That's where what our light would be in our lantern. Right here where the light would shine. So that is going to be on there like that. So we're done with the yellow on that one. I'm going to go ahead and add some yellow over here on this one. And I want that more just in the center of the card here. And we can darken that yellow, so we're not really going to worry about that if I get it too much or... Okay, there we go with our yellow spot there. So we'll put that away. We're not going to need that. The next thing we're going to come in with is first we're going to come in with a little bit of Old Olive. And with the Old Olive, I'm going to take my green and I'm going to add that around here at the bottom. So I'm just going to add some green along the bottom here. And then we'll go ahead and add some green onto this one too. And I don't really measure how high I'm going with it or whatever. I just am adding some green. And I'm actually just kind of cleaning my brush out with this on this side, Just keep going, and it kind of just cleans your brush as you go. Now what I'm going to do, we'll come back to this one. I'm going to tap my brush on my ink pad, just like this. And instead of going in a circular motion, because I want to give this some dimension, I'm just going to tap. And it gives it some dimension. And can you see the difference between the two? Let me hold them up. And see that difference? I've just added, and it gets a little bit darker. So we're going to do the same on this one. So I'm just going to tap that in there and get some good color on there. I got a bigger area, so we're just doing it bigger. And when I get done, in the big scheme of things, it will look just fine. And there we have that one. So see how it gives it a little bit of texture in your grass without having to make grass? So we have that. And then the next one we're going to bring in is I'm going to get some of that out of my brush. I tend to try to keep them clean a little bit. I don't wash them too much. I keep one for each color. Whoops, wrong color. After I said that, look at me. I'm going to use Balmy Blue first. So let's bring this back in. And I'm going to take this. My bristles are all fluffy. And I'm going to go into my Balmy Blue. And I am just going to, and I don't want to start over there where that green is. I'm going to move over to a new area, especially with this light color. And I want to put Balmy Blue down. So I'm going to be turning this so I can add that all the way down. And I don't have to get full coverage on this because I'm going to be putting Night of Navy over it. I just want some of it in there because it'll show through a little bit where I don't get all the Night of Navy on there completely. So I want it to be okay. There's that one for Balmy Blue. Let's do this one. And it's just as easy to do 2 cards at one time than it is to do one. So you might want to keep that in mind if you try this. Just go ahead and do 2 card stocks instead of 1. So you can make 2 backgrounds. You don't have to make them the same. Just as I'm doing, you could make them, use all kinds of different stamps that you might have. Of course, you'd want to use something kind of outdoorsy, since we're making kind of like a landscape type. Okay, we have both of our blues on there now. So let's close this up. And then we're going to bring in our Night of Navy. So I'll clean that out just a little bit. I'll bring in my dark blue with my Night of Navy. Look at me scooting all my stuff. So let's bring this one back in. Now, Night of Navy, when you hit this pad, it comes dark, okay? So you want to be careful as you're doing this. You want to come off of here and then just go and add little bits at a time, okay? Okay, I'm going to add some more. And you can swirl it all different ways. It gives you kind of different texture in there when you're doing that. And I want to get it dark. Getting in my yellow right there, aren't I? Better watch out. So I mainly want to get up here on my edges. So now I'm going around that, making sure I get those. And if you can see a little bit of balmy blue through there. Let's do this one, and then I'm going to kind of touch up my yellows. But I'll do them both at the same time because I'm sure I'll wreck this one too. So we're just going to color that in. Oh, look at my fingerprints. I did that on the last card I made too. So we'll have to kind of get that dark down there. Woohoo! I have some dark sky down there. But that's okay. That's what's nice about this. You can mess up and it's not messed up. Now I'm going to try to I know some people will try to get everything so even, but you don't have to. I mean, it's a handmade card. So if you have it a little off kilter, so be it. So be it. So now I'm just going to kind of rub this out. Because I'm cleaning my brush out a little bit. You can see the light and the dark values in there, and that's okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this green in real here, and it's pretty well out of the, because I cleaned it, but that's okay. It's going to blend that blue back in there and green together to where it's not as noticeable. Can you tell that? And then I'm going to take the yellow, and I might have to add yellow because yellow is just so light, and go in here and just around those edges soften that blue. So it kind of softened it. This one I think I'm going to add a little yellow to it. Should be enough. We'll just close it, get it out of the way. And it's just going to soften that blue around those edges. Okay, and the last thing I'm going to do is I am going to open my yellow up, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this round dot that's in the lighting with the way. I'm going to take that, I'm going to ink it up in my yellow. I'm going to put my lantern down here and kind of just see like where this spot would go. I think I got it pretty yellow without doing the spot, so let's darken it up. And I don't have to worry about that spot being exactly rounded in one certain area because we're going to have this as the light behind it. So that is done. So let's put that up so we don't lose him. We got a lot of stamps over here going here and there and everywhere. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the trees, which is just the Campology trees. And I'm going to take Mossy Meadow because it's a darker green. And I'm going to ink that up really good. Just making sure it's inked good. Then I'm going to take it over here and I'm going to just offset it a little bit and set that down. Hold it, let all that ink soak into my cardstock. And then I'm going to ink this up again. And I'm going to bring it and I'm going to go over a little bit. And there we go. That's our trees. Very simple to do. It's not a lot of work to doing that. You don't have to, you could use your Stamparatus if you wanted to, but you don't have to make sure you get them really dark because they'll look like shadows in the night if they're not real dark. So we have those done. Let me move this big stamp out of my way. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we are going to take, actually, I'm going to lay that there. We are going to emboss the white. Thanks for lighting the way. So I'm going to bring a coffee filter out and lay that down. I'm going to get my white embossing powder ready. It's one thing I don't do a lot of is embossing. And I'm going to get my Versamark out with my stamp. I'm going to ink up my stamp. And I just want to make sure I got that inked good. You know, Versamark is nothing but a glue, basically. So you want that to be really, because that's what's going to hold your powder. So you want to ink that up. I'm going to leave this sit here just for a second because I'm going to make sure where I'm going to put this. I don't want it in the way over there. And I'm going to stamp down. I'm going to let that kind of soak into my cardstock a little bit. I was going to use my embossing buddy and I forgot. So we'll do without that, won't we? I always forget. So it looks like we got our letters on there good. And now I'm just going to pour embossing powder. And I don't need to pour the whole jar. I'm going to empty it into here. And I'm going to have to flick it pretty good because I did not use my embossing buddy, which kind of takes all of that off of there. Let me see if I put a brush in there. I did not. See if I have one over here. I might. Yeah, I do, right here. So let's take this and just going to wipe off all this extra embossing powder because I don't want all that white fleck on there like that. So let's just I'm going to blow embossing powder all over my craft room. That'll be good. I had my embossing buddy sitting right here too. What a dork. Okay, let me get this back in the jar before I have it all over the place. We'll throw that coffee filter away. We've used it quite a few times. We'll keep that. Messy, messy. That is me. Oh, darn it. And then my embossing powder I hit it. So now I'm going to have to put some more on there. Let's hope it sticks. Oh. And it did. Okay. So let's heat that up. Now, do you know when you're using a heat gun, you want to turn it on before you put it to your paper. Let it warm up for a few minutes. And then that way it doesn't take you as long to heat. Then you want to just start it. And you'll see it start to turn. And that way you know it's heating it. If I would have used my embossing buddy, it would have turned out a lot better. But we're good. It does have a little bit, if you can see the white specks kind of around it that kind of embossed, but that's okay because we are going to take on both of these, and I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to take a white gel pen, and it's one I've had. It's a Signo. I get them from Amazon. This is my favorite brand. I think it lasts a long time. I'm just going to touch it here and get it going because sometimes they need a little kickstart. And then I'm just going to take, and I'm just going to do this. And I don't care if they're elongated, round, whatever. But I'm just kind of going into the blue area. And it kind of brings out that blue in the blue ink. It kind of brings that out. And then I'm going to go ahead and do this one too. And this drives some people crazy because they have to be really systematic on it. They want to, if they have a dot on one side, they want a dot on another side, same. And this is random. Random is really hard to do. I, in fact, had to get used to doing random, but that was okay. And there we go. We have them on both cards. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and finish this card right here. So I'm going to lay this off to the side. I'm going to close up my Versamark. We don't need it anymore. Let me make sure I got all that embossing powder away. Okay, I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to put some glue on it. So I'm just going to add glue. I just want it to be held down good. But I don't want a bunch of glue on it. I don't want it squirting out anywhere. Okay. So now we'll take this and I'll turn it over. Bring this in and I'm going to line it up at the bottom. And then I'm just going to rub on all this just to get it to be down. And see how we have our little light in there compared to this one? It's just yellow, and this one has like it's a brighter light on the inside. And what I did after that is I took, I did. I took my Wink of Stella and I just went around the insides, these 4. I didn't do the little rungs like on it. I just did in where the light would be around there to kind of lighten that up. And that is that. So what we're going to do is we're going to build this card real quick, and then we'll go on to the other one. So what I have is a 5 1/4 by 4 piece of So Saffron. And I'm going to, and that's not what I'm going to do. I know what I want to do. Is I want to do my card. I want to put my So Saffron on my card. So let's fold my card. I made these cards a couple weeks ago, so it's like, okay, now I didn't get to be able to do a video. Left them sit here, so I'm putting my So Saffron on. I want to make sure it's down, so put me some glue. And I'm just going to add this to the front of my card. And then what I want to do with this is I'm going to take some Stampin' Dimensionals, and I'll just go right over where I added that glue right there. It will not hurt. So what I'm doing is I'm going to pop this one up for some dimension. I like dimension on my card, so I'm always adding dimensionals. I actually think they're a cheap way to give your card dimension. If you think about $4 for 300 of them, that's pretty reasonable. Pretty reasonable on my chart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that, make sure I got it going the right way, and I'm just going to add that to the front of my card, like so. And for the inside, I've got a piece of white that's 5 1/4 by 4. And I'm going to add that to the inside. And I've got 2 of them here. I can't get them apart. So I'm just going to ink this. Ink it. Add glue. And I'm going to stick that right here. Then I'm going to take my, I already cut out my bumblebee. I stamped him, used the die cut, cut him out. And I'm going to add him right here. And before we close him up, let me put my glue there. I am going to take the yellow. It is the Dark Daffodil Delight. And I'm just going to color the back end of him. And there we go. We have our little bumblebee colored. So that card is done. So we just basically built a little scenery, put the lantern on there and says, "Thanks for lighting the way." Now what we're going to do with this one, I am going to go ahead and get everything stamped on it, and then I am going to do this owl. So I'm going to take the leaf I had. Let's take this off. I gotta swap out pads here, or blocks, I should say. And I'm going to use the Evening Evergreen ink again. And I'm going to stamp these leaves. So I'm just going to ink it up. I'm just going to add a little leaf down here, here and there. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring in my 5 1/4 by 4 that goes on the inside. And I'm going to ink me a leaf there. So that's all done with the stamping for that. And then I'm going to bring in, we're going to stamp our owl, and then I'm going to color him really quick. He's a quick color. Let's put this away. We're going to stamp him on a scrap piece of paper. And we're also going to bring in the It's Your Day from this stamp set. So I'm going to put it on a block because I have a little piece of scrap right here. I'm actually, now that we're done with this part of stamping, I'm going to move that dirty piece of paper out of the way. It's distracting to me. Okay, so let's put him this way. There we go. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and stamp this, and we'll stamp the owl. It says It's Your Day. And then you could put like a happy birthday or whatever in there. Or just write a little note. Now the owl we're going to bring in, and we're going to stamp on this piece of scrap paper. So we're going to ink him up really, really good. Want to make sure he gets a good dark image. So make sure that he's stamped really good. And there he is. Cute little guy. Now he is, I'm letting that dry for just a second, since we're going to be coloring him with the Stampin' Blends, but you could use colored pencils or whatever you like. But in the meantime, while I'm letting that dry, I'm going to take the scissors, and I'm just going to cut this at an angle. You know how I am about doing these angles anymore. I need to get into a new fashion. So I've got that. I'm going to go ahead and put that on my card because it's going to go at the bottom. It's not going to interfere with my owl. We can go ahead and build this card, and he can dry a second, and we'll come back and color him. So I'm going to stick this right here. I'm going to do the exact same thing I did with this card. I am going to fold it. I'm going to add the yellow to the front. And let's go ahead and add this to the inside of the card. Let's get that done. Okay, what we're going to do with this, we're going to go ahead and add our dimensionals. And sometimes it's just nice to add, just to pop this up off of your color a little bit. It just adds a little bit to your and that makes it stand up really good to I use 8 of them. I used to use 6, but I like the 8 better. And like I said, they're so cheap that it's worth the extra stability for your card, especially if it's going to be mailed. You'll want that extra stability. Okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add this onto the front. So there we go. Now we've got him. And if you notice, this little guy's got yellow eyes. Kinds of blends in with the yellow behind him. So we are going to make him with green eyes. We're going to use the light Parakeet Party. And I'm going to color in his eyes. Make him some nice, pretty green eyes. Then I'm going to take the dark pumpkin pie, and I'm going to color his beak. And his little toes. His owl feet. Then I am going to take the light crumb cake, and I want to see which end I use where. That's the dark one. This is the light one. And if you'll notice, I thought mine would be here, but look at my ends, how frayed it is, and it just looks bad, but we're going to use it anyway. I think I can do it. And if I go out of the lines, I'm putting dark over on that side anyway, so it's okay. So I'm just using the side of this pen because I'm going to use all the ink out of it. No sense wasting it. And you can tell it's almost out. But that's okay. I'm good with that. I got me another set on order. Should be here, I think, tomorrow. That's actually what it said. I was hoping it would come a day early, but no. That didn't happen. So I'm just making sure I got that kind of dark enough. Okay, there we go. And then I'm just going to take the other end instead of using the real dark, because this end shows darker when you color with it. And I'm just going to color with it. I'm not really doing any shading or anything. I do leave it kind of what I call splotchy, because I'll color and I make sure I get all the white, but I'll leave lighter spaces because of doing it this way. You can get a little bit of shading in there for the way it dries. Then I'm just going to do you all turn your papers upside down when your images and stuff when you're coloring? I flip mine all around. And you notice how I'm going from that little point in instead of out, because I can get more control like that in coloring. And I'm just kind of making it splotchy a little bit. Oop, little white spot. Get that little white spot. Make him some dark ears. There we go. He's all colored. Now what I have to do is cut him out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just cut out the bulk of this paper so I don't have all of it to deal with. And then I'm just going to start over here by his little foot. And when you're cutting, don't turn your scissors, turn your paper. You will find you'll get a much nicer cut. So when you get to where you need to turn your scissors, you just hold your scissors there and turn your paper. Now I am not going to worry about cutting in between those claws right now, or his wings, his claws. I'm just going to go around them and come in here. Move my scissors, but there we go. And here where his little tufts are sticking up, you can go in and out and kind of make it, or you can cut straight across. Takes a little bit more time to do this, but it's, you know. Once you get used to maneuvering your scissors or your paper instead of your scissors, it's easier to do. I like to fussy cut. I know a lot of people do not, but I think it's learning the ins and outs of it and what's easy. The little tricks really helps a whole lot. Here again, I'm going to come right around these for a second because I'm going to get the big part cut out. And then I'm going to go back in and I'm going to trim that. I'll show you how I do that. I trimmed that all the way back so that I'd be able to get my scissors in there a little bit better. And if your scissors are sharp enough, it will cut that paper as you turn. You won't have to worry about it. Okay, now I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to cut each way and get those little pieces out. See how I'm cutting down? Then I'm coming over to this one and cut it down to where I did that one, and hopefully it'll flick out of there. I'm going to do the same here. And I find that with these, like in wings, or sometimes if you have claws or something like that, you know, that you need to cut deep into and you want all that out of there, then to do it this way is a little bit easier. Okay, there he is cut. Isn't he cute? So what I did with him, I went ahead and I put some dimensionals on him to hold him up. And I'm going to put 4 of them on him, right like that. Should be good enough. Whoops, don't need that on there. And then I'm just going to take him in this yellow spot and add him. And it kind of highlights him in the yellow. So what are you thinking? We could, and I didn't do it on the other ones, but we could take and put a little bit of Wink of Stella on his eyes. And maybe on his feet and his beak. And just add a little bit of glimmer to him. There you go. And that just adds some glimmer to him. I think I'll do it to this one too. Might as well, huh? Maybe it'll help his yellow eyes keep from blending in so much. Yellow is my favorite color, so I'm always using it. And I thought, his eyes are blending in. There we go. That is our cards. So we made 2 cards. Same. Everything's cut the same. The design is the same. We used the same inks. We did everything, but we got two different sets of stamps used by making these cards. So I just wanted to bring that to you like that. I do want to tell you about my Stamp Crazy VIP group on Facebook, that I have the PDFs for my cards. They have a picture with them, everything that I used, and the directions are for this one. And then it tells you how I did it and stuff. So those are over on Facebook, Stamp Crazy VIP. You are more than welcome to join over there. That is my group that I do a lot of my Stampin' Up stuff on. I also have a business page, which is the same name as this YouTube page, Stamp Crazy by Rita Holmes. So anyway, that's all I have for you tonight. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you. Bye.